Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is John J. Gaming on for Mike here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Texas Rangers franchise here on MLB The Show 21. We are here with our first year player draft, man. We are, that great time of year, man, trying to see, what the future of baseball is going to be looking like. And I'm excited, man. We are actually, we got the second, we had the 7th overall pick and then the 4th overall pick, I guess, for rounds 2. It's gonna be really interesting, man. I can't wait to see how it go ahead and goes down, man. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, man, they do have the first overall pick, and they end up drafting 22-year-old Harold Mills, who, at least according to our scouts, he was listed as a 2022 plus ETA guy. So I don't know if that's going to be a good move for them. That might be why they're picking number 1 overall, to be honest with you. But now we got our pick coming up here, man. So we had a really good draft this time around. Let's see if we can get off on the right foot this time around here. Have 2 great draft classes in a row. So I'm sitting here looking at the blue chip prospects, and there's only 5 left. Most of them are closing pitchers to this point, but that being said, there's 2 guys I'm really looking at. George Rios, he's 23 years old, but has 80 potential, 65 overall. That's well above average. He could do some things with it. Already has a 97 mile per hour 4-seam fastball and a 96 mile 2-seamer. So that could be some pretty good stuff for us to look at. But I'm mainly looking at a guy named Thomas Miranda. 21 years old, 80 potential as well, blue chip guy, but he's also 70 overall on top of it. So this is a very talented dude, and I think I'm going to go ahead and draft this kid. This kid is special, and we're going to go ahead and grab him and make him the face of our franchise potentially. So now we're here in round number 2, and obviously no more blue chips remaining. And last pick that we had, we picked for accurate, best available, essentially. And now we're kind of looking at, looking around and see what else we could potentially do. We could use a little bit of everything. I'm just kind of looking around and seeing, who could maybe, step up and be, able to get into major leagues, somewhat soon. And I'm looking at this kid, Robert Ponder. Now, we got a catcher last season. He's currently at our AA level. In last year's draft, he was our 2nd pick. Robert Ponder can do some things, man. 75 potential as well. He has one of the highest potentials out of everybody that we scouted pretty well. And not to mention, he's also 60 overall, so he could be pretty solid player for us as well. He's only 19 years old on top of it. So I think Robert Ponder's got to be the move here. So now we move on to round number 3, and I know at this point, this is where we start to go ahead and, actually no, we could actually go ahead and we still have a few guys that we could look at here. And I'm looking at this, catcher position, right here. There's still this guy on the board that we were kind of looking at, to go ahead and, be, our potential catcher of the future. We were thinking about getting him in the 2nd round, so the fact that we could get him in the 3rd round, that's pretty fantastic. 70 overall, 70 potential. I'll go ahead and bring him onto the squad. Now, here in this rebuild, what I do want to go ahead and do, mix of value and mix of need. So I don't want to go for another catcher here from here on out. But that could be a nice pickup for us here. We did pretty good job with our 3rd round when it's all said and done. Let's take a look around, and see what else is still out there. We grabbed a starting pitcher. One of the people that we could grab, there is a shortstop that is available. He has a 2024 ETA. Actually, there's multiple guys with 2024 ETA. Carl Willie seems like a pretty intriguing prospect. Now, he's not very well scouted, and he has a 2024 ETA. But if he does have 80 potential and 65 overall, now, if that's the case, that could be 1st round worthy. It's probably a little bit lower than that, but, Carl Willie, I feel pretty good about going ahead and taking a shot in the dark with this guy. So, Carl Willie, welcome to the squad. He's going to go ahead and, be our 4th round selection. And yeah, man, we're really starting to go ahead, taking some shots in the dark for sure. Already picked up a second baseman and a shortstop. And now at this point, just kind of waiting to see, what else is really out there, any guys that could potentially have a readiness of 2023 or sooner, necessarily. Granted, closer is still pretty deep for us, so maybe, not something that we want to necessarily go for. But there is a guy in left field, Enrique Panique. He's a 75 potential, also 75 overall. He's probably a little bit lower than that, but we'll go ahead and pick him up as kind of like a flyer pick for us. He'll go ahead and be our 5th round pick for us moving forward. And that does go ahead and leave us with our final selection here. We're now at a point where who's going to be our final pick? Who's going to essentially be our Mr. Irrelevant? And not really anyone that has a kind of close ETA that I really like. So at this point, I'm looking at potential. Who could exhibit some really nice potential abilities. Now I know at starter and closer we're definitely steep, so I don't want to get a closer necessarily, unless it's a blue chip, of course. But Clyde Houck looks interesting. He's listed as 80 potential, 60 overall. Again, it's a shot in the dark, you never know what could happen, with these kind of players. He's 19 years old, so I'm going to go ahead and pick him up. Whatever happens, happens. It's a shot in the dark for us, If he doesn't turn out that great, that it is what it is. But, if he does, then, then that would be fantastic. So this is what our draft class is looking like, and we drafted a monster yet again with our 1st round pick. We got Thomas Miranda. He has 93 potential, which is really good for us, but at the same time though, he has 75 overall. This kid, he could play on our roster day one. They weren't kidding about that ETA at the MLB level, so he can play for us, right away if he wanted to. George Diaz is also like that too, but he only has 73 potential. So, don't really like that whatsoever. But that being said, he could come in and be a platoon player for us right away. He could be a day one person at the MLB level. Robert Ponder, he's our 2nd round pick. Only 61 overall, but has 79 potential. He could be, a starting caliber player. Same thing with Carl Lilly. He has the potential to be a starting caliber player, at least an everyday player. Enrique, he's a 67 overall, but only 66 potential. I don't know if he makes it to the major leagues, but that being said, he does have some pretty solid skills overall. If we can get his potential up, that would be very good. And then Clyde Houck, it's a question mark. If he makes it to the majors, that's a bonus for us, but 52 overall, he can't really do much other than, steal bases and has elite speed to work with. But I like this draft class once again. I think we did a pretty good job overall. Let me know, and then of course these guys are available to become custom players. If you want to be a custom player with this draft class, let me know down in the comments. Let me know who you want to replace as well as what you want to name him, and then I will make that happen. It will also be first come first serve, so if there's more than 6 custom players, the remaining players that aren't on the Texas Rangers will be in next year's draft class. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into a couple of critical situations with the squad, see if we can keep it up. So we do a little bit of simulating, trying to find a critical situation for us to go ahead and play, because we want to get the gameplay for you guys. And Nate Lowe actually tore his hamstring, so he's going to be out for 1 to 2 months, and that's a really big loss for us here. But that being said though, we do have our first critical situation. Yu Darvish is actually on the mound for us, and we're gonna try to go ahead and see if we can get a shutout, finish that off for him, try to go ahead and win this game. So yeah, man, let's go ahead and see if Yu Darvish can finish it off. Complete game shutout, baby.
So while we go ahead and wait and sit back as we wait for some of those young guys to make it to the big league club, let's go ahead and check out the big league club as well as we go ahead and take a look at the Texas Rangers, who are going up against the Baltimore Orioles. And, you know, that being said, you know, Yu Darvish has himself a shutout game so far, 8 innings pitched, but the defense, it's letting him down a little bit, man. That should have been an easy out. Yu Darvish, I understand him not getting it, but it seems like everybody on that play had themselves some butterfingers. Thankfully, Yu Darvish is okay and will remain in the game in order to go ahead and keep pitching for us, of course. As we do have a full count here with Cedric Mullins up to bat as he tries to belt one to right field. But it hits it right to our right fielder. That's going to be called out. George Soler making the catch out there at that right field position. And, you know, we may have worked ourselves in a little bit of a jam here, but at the same time, we're in a position to go ahead, you know, close this inning out, which we should go ahead and do, as Khalifa is going to go ahead and make the play for us. And, you know, we're only one play away. It's going to be interesting to see what we decide to do, whether we keep Yu Darvish in or we go ahead and bring the closer in. And after a, you know, not so productive, you know, at-bat session for our Texas Rangers, we won't be able to get any more runs on the board. At least that's the goal. We'll bring in our closer, Jose Maclaurin, who actually, you know, he's been doing pretty well in the 18 games that he played in so far, as he drives a fly ball to center field, but Delano DeShields Jr. gonna go ahead and make the catch out there in center field. As we go ahead now and take a look at Jose Maclaurin's stats here. He's currently second place in the American League in terms of number of saves. Ryan Presley from the Houston Astros are ahead of him, but they probably won more games, so that's why. Jose Maclaurin has never blown a save, at least over the course of this season. Hopefully it stays that way as well, as we got one out here in the top of the 9th inning as we get a ground ball down to third base. Going to be able to make the play, and now we get it out to up to 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning, as it leaves just Michael Franco, who is going to go ahead and take care of business. 0-2 count here to 1 strike remaining as the pitch is away. We get him out of here, man. Let's go. Jose Maclaurin getting the dub. And that's how we go ahead now and take care of business. And Texas Rangers, man, first critical situation that we have in this episode. We win it. Final score of 3-0. Yu Darvish with 8 high quality innings pitched.
So we actually go ahead and start the month of May on an absolute tear. We win 5 of our next 6 games, only losing 1 game to the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are 38-18. But, you know, after that, you know, we win our series against the Dodgers, and then, you know, we win our next 2 games against the Baltimore Orioles. You know, 5-1 and 3-0. You know, something that I am extremely proud of. You know, this team is, you know, it's certainly scrappy, man, because we're 23rd ranked in terms of talent, you know, and we're not even good at one particular thing, but it's just a scrappy squad. And, you know, it really makes me think about, you know, maybe, you know, making a move, you know, for the, you know, wild card, you know, essentially, because we're actually currently in the lead for the AL wild card. We're tied with the Seattle Mariners. You know, so we're off to a pretty nice start, man. I am excited, you know, to see what the rest of this team can do. But, you know, that being said, you know, let's go ahead, you know, try to sim the rest of May, and at least try to go ahead and see what other critical situations pop up. And we actually have another critical situation that comes in. Alcantara, he has a shutout going late in the game. He's been doing a pretty nice job for us so far. You know, we're up 9-0. Let's see if we can get the shutout for Alcantara, you know, here, who was an acquisition for us midway through last season.
So we jump into our next critical situation, which ironically also deals with the Baltimore Orioles here, as we go ahead now. You know, this time around we have a much better league to work with. We're up 9-0 here. The question is, can our number 1 pitcher, Sandy Alcantara, go ahead now and finish the complete game shutout? That'll be a great achievement for this pitcher, as we're trying to see if he can mold himself into a potential ace for the squad. As we go ahead, we get the first out, or we should be our first out. So one dead here in the top of the 9th inning, and we now only have 2 more outs left to go. And Sandy Alcantara is going to have the complete game shutout. Let's see if he can finish the job here. As now we go ahead and go to our next batter, which is Ryan Montcastle, 0 for 3 with a shutout, or with a strikeout, and only batting 1 for 11 so far in this series. So, been in a little bit of a slump, which I think he's going to go ahead and get out of, as Ryan Montcastle hits a moonshot out to left field, the 9th home run of the season for Ryan Montcastle. So we go ahead and lose the complete game shutout. Oh, Sandy Alcantara was only 2 outs away from getting it done, but it is going to go ahead and slip out of his fingers. But we'll see if Alcantara can go ahead and get himself out of the the inning without any more damage being done. Testing the dude's character, we are going to go ahead and leave him in the game, and he does just that, man. We win this one 9-1 as well.
So the winning ways for the Texas Rangers continues to keep going. We win our series against the Baltimore Orioles, winning 3 of 4 games, and we're now 6 games over 500 now, as we look for one last critical situation.
So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the final critical situation of this episode, which ironically once again involves the Baltimore Orioles, but this time around it is a very tight game that we're going to be dealing with. It's all tied up at 1 apiece, but Montcastle can walk it off, so it's time to go ahead and try to clamp it down on these guys real quick. And remember the last critical situation that we had in this episode? What ended up happening was Ryan Montcastle did hit a solo shot, but he's not going to get that kind of luck this time around either, as John Barreba does go ahead and strike him out for the time being, but we still got 2 more outs left to get. Let's see if we can go ahead, get the job done so that we can at least go into extra innings here real quick, as we strike out DJ Stewart as well. John Barreba out here straight dealing. So that does leave Micah Franco up at the plate, the final out for the Baltimore Orioles. But with that being said, he has the capable of hitting that home run ball if we're not careful, as he's gonna hit one to center field, and it is gone like a girl in a country song. Home run for Micah Franco, the 9th home run of the season. And we missed just a little bit over the plate, and they made us pay for it in the worst way possible. So we end up losing this game.
And to make matters worse as well, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa does tear his ACL. He's going to be out basically for the rest of the season, man, as we take another L. So we're back down to, 4 games under 500, or 4 games over 500, I should say. But, hopefully despite those injuries, maybe we can, go ahead, at least try to finish the, the month strong. But, it seems like we're really getting hit with the injury bug. George Soler tears his calf as well. He's going to be out for at least a month or 2. It's just not a good look for us whatsoever. Kyle Seager, even gets a little banged up as well, but he's only going to be out for a few days, thankfully. But, we're starting to lose our touch a little bit here. This was, right about the spot where, we start to, lose a couple of games, a little bit here. But, we're still in it. We're still in the good fight, as they say, man. We get a couple of, wins against, the Blue Jays, all that good stuff. Collie Aubert actually sustains an injury at the AAA level as well, but he's only going to be out for a few games as well. And we finished the month of June, and we do we finished the end of the month pretty weak, unfortunately. Getting swept by the Kansas City Royals, who are 28-47. That's not a good look for us necessarily, but we gotta do what we gotta do. We're still 3 games over 500, as we are closing in on that All-Star break, and not to mention we're still 3rd place in the division overall, 10 games back, and we're only 2 games back from the wild card as well. So we're definitely we're still in the thick of things. It ain't over yet. Is never gonna end unless the fat lady sings, of course. you know, checking out some of the worst teams, the Rockies actually have the worst record in the MLB. They're 25-50. So I mean, it definitely could be worse for us, but yeah, man, let's see if we have what it takes to get over the hump, or are we gonna fall off like we did in the second half of last season? So that being said, I'm gonna sign off. I hope you enjoyed the content, and you know, if you are, I encourage you to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're new. Next episode, we will go ahead and have ourselves a, you know, the All-Star break. See if we have anybody make it to the All-Star game as a starter, whether it be the MLB, AAA, or AA levels. And then on top of that, you know, see if we have anybody in, you know, special events, have a couple of critical situations, maybe even do a AAA check-in. Tell me what you're feeling. But yeah, man, I'll see you guys next time. I hope you're all out there having a wonderful day. Take care, everybody.